Okay, now it's going.
Now we got it. Okay.
Hi.
Hi. High
Honey.
school teacher from the
Hi.
1920s.
Hey, I'm cute looking. You look
You're
sexy.
adorable.
You're
And look, you can
sexy.
see through both of our shirts. You got your little, and I got my sexy bra.
I
I
have the
can't put,
zip open because I need it loose because
I can't, I can't go down because I can't go down. I can, but I can't put the camera down because I got bright red corduroy pants on. That's a big old fashioned faux pas. And slippers. I only have to be pretty from the boobs up.
the boobs are all that matter, honestly. I don't have your size.
I don't have my size either. You don't have my
Okay,
size bra
everyone's
with
probably
action.
everyone's gonna be laughing at us. I'm all like, do we have boobs? Do you do that thing too when you're looking for something and you touch your boobs and you're looking? Because I do that. I don't know why. Like,
Are they there?
I'm looking for like my phone. I'm like, where's my phone? Where's my phone?
I don't do that one.
I do
That's
that.
funny.
My Josh will come in and put his hand on his chest. He's like, "What are we looking for?" Shut up.
What a sport.
Okay, sorry, Voltaire. Voltaire's like, ladies.
I don't
Stand
think
up.
he minds us groping ourselves. Maybe he
He
just
says,
wants
no, I
interference.
don't mind that part, but let's get started. Okay,
Okay.
so today we're going to be speaking with Voltaire, my baby's daddy, and they're not a new species, I mean, but
They're brand new. We just discovered him, so they're new.
so they're new to us. We haven't talked to them before.
Right.
And what's interesting is that Voltaire had written a sci-fi book when he was alive. Most people don't know that, but he was like one of the people call him like one of the founding fathers of sci-fi. Um, but yeah, they do. Um, so he mentioned these beings called the Saturians. So like Saturn, but the
Mm-hmm.
IAN at the end. So
Mm-hmm.
Saturians, I think you would pronounce that, whatever. But they're actual or real species.
Are they
And
actually from Saturn?
well, they have a base on one of the moons around Saturn.
Okay. Okay.
Um, and I
I
have
just
contact with them as well. And so we haven't interviewed them before, and they're really chill. So we're gonna, they're chill.
so he was a say it for me, Saturian. Saturian?
Saturian, yeah.
Volti? Okay.
Volti wrote about them. He mentioned them.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. Did he call them that?
yeah. In
Was
his
that his name?
book, yeah, that's what he
Okay.
called them. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, his sci-fi book was really weird about some giant that could jump on all the planets.
Okay.
I read it. All right, so I'm gonna go under, and Voltaire's gonna go first inside me. Oh my god, I'm so excited. Ooh, I can't stop giggling. I have to calm down first.
I want to get some juicy information out of him.
Oh my god. God, I love
Not
him.
the aliens. I want the romance information.
Okay.
Hmm.
Much too excited. Okay. That's it's getting better. Hmm. I'm distracted too. And-
Okay. I just, or you froze on me for a sec, so I got a little nervous about our connection.
Okay. Her nerves are everywhere.
Let's talk about that.
I
Can we
think it was
just,
her coffee this morning. It makes her very jittery. She had too many cups.
I did the same thing. It's a good diet aid. Ugh. So that's not all it is, though. I'm just going to assume that
She's
it's
very
part you.
excited to have me inside of her, and I'm excited to be inside.
She loves it when you come in her body. So
I come in
she's
it
so
all the time.
excited to come and see you and writhe around in your bed,
I don't think that would be possible to do my bed. She might
right?
get in trouble and kicked out of my house. And
Oh,
there are rules you have to follow when on the tour. You can't go past certain roped areas.
I know. I've been to historical homes before. I know the rules.
I
But
don't
I'm
like these.
hoping that there's some kind of like special rock or brick or something she can stick in her
I have a
cleavage.
surprise for her.
Do you? Oh my
She
gosh.
will. She'll love
You
it.
gotta,
Something
you
to
gotta
keep with
drop a
her
hint.
always. No,
What?
no.
Okay. Don't.
A
Okay.
surprise.
It is a surprise.
Must keep it that way.
Okay. Okay, so let me reveal some other secrets then. They're not necessarily secrets, but she wants to know why you electrify her so much. I do too.
I am attached to her. I'm going to try and say this as simple as possible while
Okay.
making sense.
Okay. Good luck.
I know that there are those that believe in the concept of twin flames, but that's not necessarily what she and I are. So I already want to take that, get it out of your head.
Okay.
We are not the same exact soul, but we do have a passion towards one another that is unique than with other souls. I do have romantic relationships with other beings, other persons,
Mhm.
and I don't want to say that one's more special than the other because they are all equal to me. Hers is very different, and she makes me, if you can think of my energy as a round, perfect circular sphere, when
Okay.
I go near her, it becomes this warped, always moving, and gets misshapen and constantly moving. I can't keep myself from. I lose control as well. I'll just put that.
Wow.
There's no name for it in English because you have yet to fully understand how complex relationships with other souls can be. You have them in neat boxes, which help for now. However, there's a lot of different soul relationships you can have that are not always necessarily a twin flame relationship. They don't have to be platonic. They can be all sorts of things. And she and I fit into a different kind of sphere rather than a box.
So, what does it mean for a spirit to lose control besides losing your shape?
Losing my shape is my best metaphor. Mm. Everything, and this is going to sound cliched, everything does melt away from me when I'm around her. And I forget oftentimes that I am dead. Mm.
Oh, that's so
And
sweet.
I have moments where I wish I were alive so that I could touch her. That I can't. And that's okay for now.
Yeah,
Although
is it, go.
I was just going to say, although we will be in contact later, physically, once I get older.
You want to talk about that? Will
Not
you?
so much. Not so much.
Okay, okay. I can't wait to find out. So, oh, I forgot. Um, oh, I'm sorry.
This is all right.
I derailed myself with that potentiality. Um, well, can you describe a little bit more then? Because I know we have questions from the Stardusters, but I don't care. I want to know if you can explain some more stuff about the different dynamics of relationships with spirit. I love this stuff.
Well, it depends on the relationship first. So let's talk about a romance, since that is
Okay.
what you seem to be wanting to focus on. A romance with a spirit is no different than any kind of relationship with one, whether that's a father on the other side, or a guide, or a friend, a mentor. And with spirit, it's oftentimes more than one kind of relationship because we can morph in and out of who we need to be for the individual.
Okay.
And even though we are in contact with you, it's always for a purpose, it's always for a reason. And others don't want to see it that way because they make it feel as though the relationship is less than, as though we're not in a relationship because we want to be. But
Okay.
we want to be, we want to help you.
Okay.
We enjoy the romance as much as you do, although in a slightly different way, whereas yours is much more physical and you have a physical reaction to it. Ours is exactly the same, but we don't have that physical reaction to it anymore. So I do not get aroused in the same way I once would have had I been in a body. And that takes the fun away from it, I would think, a little bit. But when I am in a body like I am right now, I can feel it, and I feel how she makes me feel while in a body, and I would not be able to keep my hands off her. I would be a very bad person, a bad man. I would not be polite.
A good bad man.
Good bad man.
Oh.
So with romantic relationships, you need to look at the dynamic. Why are you having this relationship? What are you gaining from this? And oftentimes it's mostly learning to love yourself by having someone outside yourself love you unconditionally in a way you could never perceive. And oftentimes a lot of these, and it's mostly women, who are in these relationships, and they're not necessarily in a marriage that is filled with a fiery passion, the passion that they read in those books. And it's our way of feeding that to them and knowing it exists and it's real. But it's a little more complicated to have that with another human being. There's a lot more complications that come with that. Having a relationship of passion and fire, there's also trade-offs to those things, drawbacks. And that can mean a lot of fighting, a lot of discourse in the relationship. And oftentimes, even though you have this strong, passionate relationship with somebody, you will break up because of how total opposites there are. And in theory and in the books you read, that's beautiful, it's remarkable, it's something you want, but when you're in it, you don't see it that way. So when you have that kind of fire with a spirit, it takes out the ego from it and the anger, the fighting, so you have just the pure joy of it, and it leaves for a safe space to fully unleash and be out of control, which is also in and of itself a lesson. But it also mostly teaches you how to learn about yourself, your needs and your wants, and that could lead to learning your self-worth and knowing how much you need to love yourself. Hope that answers your question.
It does, and as you're sharing it with me, it reminds me very much of my relationship with Avery, and even though he's, physical, it feels like a spirit relationship. And only recently I realized, I know you know my story. So I finally retrospectively saw that contrast he provided of that unconditional love without that drama and hurt and fighting.
And so, oftentimes, some people will choose to have drama with the spirit. The spirit, we're not actually emotionally engaged. We pretend we are. Everything is a game. And you may think of that as cruel, but honestly, that is exactly what is happening on Earth right now. It's just you forget it's a game and you get a little too involved. You lose it's as though you're dressing up and pretending to be a character and you get lost in the role, like some actors do. And they stay stuck in that role.
Right.
For years. So it's no different than that. But we can easily disengage whenever we need or want to. And some people think of that as a bad thing, but we only disengage when it's time to. And it's something we agreed upon on the other side, although you may not consciously be aware of it.
Yeah, that stuff's fooling with me, that free will and unconsciously aware of choices and things like that. I got bones to pick with the spirits.
Well, what would be the point of you remembering everything? Because then it wouldn't matter what you're going through. Because you would already remember.
I'm going to pose my question to you.
Okay. See
if you can give me an answer that satisfies me, because I'm having a hard time getting this answer. I use the example, I'm just going to say that I understand there's certain things we choose in our life, and I'm going to use the example of like a pretty radical car accident. It's called an accident because it's an accident. I didn't plan to get in my car and go crash and, sever a limb. So that was not my free will choice. However, I understand that on a soul level, that was a choice. So how can it be explained to me in a way that's acceptable that that was my free will choice when I'm sitting here saying, nah, that was an accident. I didn't choose that. You know?
Mm, your free will isn't always conscious. Because if
Okay.
you were to always consciously make your own free will choice, which you do, there's some things that would interfere with your own life purpose that you freely have chosen. And our egos get in the way.
Hmm.
Your ego wants certain things. You have
Right.
certain wants. They're not needs, they are
Yes.
wants. And there's a difference. And for us, want and need are different. For you, your need is you need food and shelter
Right.
and warmth. For spirit, what you need are lessons and growth. That's why you came here. And not always are they going to be pretty.
Right.
And so you need to separate, instead of asking which is free will, ask yourself which one is for my purpose and which one is my ego asking for what. Does that make sense to you?
It helped. I'm gonna process that and let that, you know, because I do understand the concept. I just couldn't articulate it in a way that made sense. And I think you said something like some of your free will is unconscious free will. Is that kind of how you said it? Or subconscious?
Let's just take free will, take that word out of it. I don't want that word. I don't like it. It leads
Okay.
to thinking too much about how freely you can make any decision.
Yes.
In theory, when it comes to your life purpose, I don't want to say no, because you can choose to change your life purpose.
Right.
That you can freely do. It will probably fuck with everybody else, but you can.
Okay.
Because everything you go through isn't about you.
I know it. I think
And
that you
you
guys are so
have
clever.
this thought in your head, your ego thinks about you. But what about my wants? I wanted him. I wanted to have that boyfriend. What about me and my wants? Those aren't needs. Those are your wants. You wanted to
Mhm.
have that happen. And there's a
Yes.
difference between want and need. And for spirit, you haven't quite accomplished what a need is according to us.
Right. Okay. And when you say according to us, I kind of want to clarify that it's not really up to you though. You're Voltaire, you're not Fairy Girl. So I won't want to give my power away and
No,
say that all those guides are doing those things for me to me
it's
because it's
those
me.
are you are choosing to ask for their help on it. Say you want
Right.
to learn a lesson on your own inner power. That's something
Yes.
you want to go. You infer with other people. You go to them. You ask for their opinions. Everybody has their own roundabout way of learning inner power. And you choose
Hmm.
which one is best. You may mix and match a few ideas, or you may come up with something entirely on your own because you don't agree with any of the guides. But their job is to make sure that whatever path you choose to learn that lesson, they stick to it as much as they can. But they know there are outside sources at play. There's other souls at play. Some may not want to play along with you because they also can choose to disengage at any time.
Right.
It is very, a lot of things, some things are planned out, like the bigger picture,
Right.
how you will be towards end. I don't want to necessarily say that as well. There are certain things that are pre-planned, but a lot of our pre-planned concepts for your life are planned, very last minute. And you also have to think that time isn't linear. Everything's
Mhm.
happening all at once. So for us, last minute could really have been planned. It doesn't matter when it was planned. It's all
Right.
happening right this very second. And so many people want to think, oh, this happened before I was incarnated. Well, you're technically incarnated already before you became incarnated.
Right.
So everything's in a circle and a spiral. So you have to also think about that. A lot of humans are trying to understand concepts while still thinking in the way that humans think. You got to get out of that headspace, which is very hard because you're in this body.
Yes. And I'm gonna have you on Silver Linings in about a month, and we're gonna, dig into this stuff a little bit more.
I was already on it. See, there you go.
That's so cool. Was it a success?
It was. It actually made a
Awesome.
lot more people confused, but That's the key. I'm not
Yeah.
there to give you your complete answers. I did give you an answer. You just don't understand it because you're not ready to.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds about right too. Because, things got to trickle in. You're planting seeds for us to grow. Great. It's going to be another one of those where I walk in and walk away with 10 more questions. I thought
You're
I
always going to be like this. It
I
will
am.
never change. Strange.
Okay, so I do want to, because this is the Stardust channel and we are an alien channel too. Can you tell me what your inspiration was for that sci-fi book you wrote? We talked about it a
I
little
had
bit.
a dream,
Yeah.
and it was the dream that inspired it. I've always been quite enthralled with the stars when I was growing up.
Mhm.
And at the time, we could see so much more of it than we could now. And my biggest inspiration behind that was this dream I have of how big we have been told tales of giants. And my thought was, well, they're not of Earth. These are another kind of being altogether. And having that in my mind, my dream, I made things up in dream state. And I woke up and I thought I would make a good book. So I wrote a short story on it. It is not very long. I could never make something that long. The books were always relatively short.
I can't do long ones either. I haven't done any, so I don't know what I'm talking about. Well, I know you had a dream, but I'm starting from scratch with these questions here. Heather knows more than I do, but she says that they're real beings. The Saturians are real beings. Why did you dream of them? Were you
I think
one, or was Heather one?
once before I was one.
Okay.
And in our dreams, we pick up on a lot of different things. I did have contact with them when I was alive, but I didn't know I did at the
Right.
time. And my contact wasn't physical, it was more energetically. They were
Okay.
there to help me in some regard, almost like some people have help from extraterrestrials now. It's the same thing. Even when they have been helping us for a long time, not just when I was alive, even before then.
Yeah. What
Mm.
was their motivation to help you? How were they guiding you?
They saw me as a brother,
Hmm.
because I have been one of them before, so they see that. And it wasn't incarnated versions of them, it was more on the other side, spirit versions of them.
Okay.
Mm.
Can
So,
I ask you
yes.
a question about why other versions of ourselves choose to come to us in specific forms? And I'm going to use my friend Jesse as an example because he had a reading and like an ET version of him came and he didn't understand it all the way. He thought his higher self was an ET. I
Well, it
think,
depends on where your vibration is at.
okay,
And it
okay.
could be that this friend of yours is
Mm,
at a open-minded space about extraterrestrials. And to help
okay.
him better feel more cemented in that route,
Yes.
they show themselves how they need to. And
Okay.
that can oftentimes help. Sometimes they want you to, say, go down a route of going down your ancestral background. They may show themselves as something similar to that of your ancestors
Okay.
to spark that intrigue, lay that
Okay.
seed.
Somebody who's relevant or somebody who would represent something relevant to propel you on your journey.
Yes.
Okay.
Or to, it's different reasons. Or it could be the fact that that's where you're at currently, vibrationally. That's
Mhm.
where you're most resonating with. And then they will show themselves as that.
Okay. Because and it's really not a big deal, but it's not even a peeve, but I want people to understand you're not just one other being. That's just a current representative of you that's choosing to come, visit or teach or
Correct.
whatever.
I am not just Voltaire. I'm many different versions of lifetimes I have been. And I'm also just a, a ball of energy.
You are sometimes spherical, sometimes not.
Sometimes she makes me do that all the time.
Oh gosh.
I
And
cannot stay still, and it almost feels as though I'm about to explode. My energy is about to explode, and it's almost scary. I enjoy it though. I enjoy the thrill.
it is pretty yummy. I think I've asked you this before. I want to ask again. Do I have one of you? Is Margello mine? Or do I have one?
You have one. You already know who he is.
It's got to be Margello. I'm just going to assume that.
Yes, I assume that.
Oh, that's trippy. Um,
Everyone
okay,
has
so
one, by the way, and
everybody
some
does.
more than one. Some of them multiple.
Oh,
And
that's
it doesn't. Humans have this concept that it has to be one.
I
This one
know.
special one. This my favorite one. For spirit, we don't have favorites. We have preferences.
Okay, I'll learn about those. Yeah, I've learned that this is a little sad dose of reality that things that feel so special to you aren't necessarily that special. It's just another tool in the
It's an
evolution of life.
yes, and you also have to take into consideration ego isn't bad, but you have to recognize what comes from ego, and
Like
that's
expectations.
yes.
Okay. Do you know if
Stop.
Heather? Oh, tell me, what is that?
Stop.
What's she doing?
Not that I want you to stop, but you need to stop. Wants and needs.
Is she swirling your orange
She
chocolate?
is rubbing her hands down, and I can't take that. I would jump right out.
Behave yourself, Sissy Pants.
Okay. She's a bad one. Okay. She's worse than me.
You're perfect for each other.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You
Mm.
just keep. I keep going.
All right,
I'm
I'm
gonna
gonna try to
jump.
distract you. I'm gonna try. Let's go back to those aliens. Oh, what? I
Yes.
get feeling. Go ahead, finish. I'll wait.
Oh, don't worry. You'll get yours later. She's getting in trouble.
I don't know if you're talking to her or me, but I'm ready too.
You're in trouble too. Looking in you in that very provocative outfit. I'm
I'm
enjoying
man
it.
shopping. Think I
If
can
only I were a man. Still.
No. Okay, so the aliens. Do you know if she plans on channeling one of those too, or should I get the scoop from you on them? Do you have any idea?
You could talk to them directly. Perhaps she would be on her best behavior.
Yeah, perhaps she would. Maybe she'd keep her energetic hands to herself.
I can't handle this.
You guys aren't even going to be able to finish this video with me. You're going to have to go, you know,
Don't worry. We
take
will.
a.
Okay. Well, then I
Because
will. If you don't have any more questions for me, I will leave gladly because I can't.
okay, well, if you're glad to go and go take a cold shower, you go right ahead. But I always enjoy talking to you. You know how much I love you.
And I love you.
Thank you. All right, I'll talk to you later. Sorry. I love him. I know you guys are having sex right now, but I love him.
No, we weren't. Hey.
Put your hands in his energetic pants.
Yeah.
It's just so sweet.
I can't control myself around him.
You ruin his sphere, man. You turn him into a crazy ass blob.
Yeah, all right. Let's woo.
We need to take out that.
Voltaire. Stop. Okay. Oh my god, we're
Why
crazy.
did you
Anyone watching this? Oh my god. I'm so embarrassed now. Why was I doing those things? So inhibited. He's like, now it's my turn. Okay. He's standing right behind me. I'll be a good boy.
Oh,
Unlike you. He's funny. Okay.
I'm always on the sidelines watching
What?
you, hearing about you.
Well, for anyone that's curious about it, you can have, you can't feel it really physically like you would like a dick, because he doesn't have a penis anymore. What it would be like is almost like swirling your chakras. That's what it feels like. And certain chakra points feel best, others don't. So when he wants to give me a hug, I always feel it in my arms first. And then it just feels like this warm embrace. It makes me feel like I'm vibrating and humming, like the whole body is just shaking. And it's like I need to jump out of my body when he does that. And it's pure energy, and you could do this even with like someone who's physical with you, and you guys can do.
I've
It's
done
called
it with you, with him. I'll go.
yeah. It's called
I'm freaky with that girl.
it's called tantric. It's tantric sex. That's what it is, and you can have it with spirit. And I know for some people that will make you uncomfortable. And at first, it did for me too. I thought people were having like relationship with spirits like that. I thought I try not to judge, but I really did think that was really fucking weird. And I just thought, oh, they're really just lonely women. They're like, in loveless marriages.
Shit up.
Right. They're in loveless marriages, and whatever's your coping mechanism for that, cool, that works. But it happened to me, and I'm not a lonely person. I'm not. I have the best boyfriend in the world. And he's good. He's good too.
And you talked about, you get your chakra swirled.
Mm-hmm.
You know what my erogenous zone is when it comes to energy sex? It's my fucking calves.
Really? Your calves?
They pull on my legs, make me feel good. It's my legs. It feels so good.
It's different, right? So the parts that would feel good for me physically are in a different spot energetically, because we have an energetic body, and and so where it feels good on the energetic body is different. Some people call it the astral or your aura or whatever. It's all the same thing, different words. So you can have fun exploring with that. And you can even do it, say you have a husband or wife that's passed on. That's always such a beautiful thing to engage with somebody like that.
I agree. And so, one time I tried to get sexy with Jesus. I didn't even believe in Jesus for most of my life. But let me tell you that Jesus absolutely electrified my entire body. But it wasn't a sexy feeling. It was so over the top, too much love almost. It was such a beautiful experience. It's like they pull your heart right out of your body and just it goes to the whole universe. It's amazing.
It is. So it's different. We have such a native, judgmental, pious look at sex and stuff, and it's unhealthy, and I think that's where a lot of the standoffish kind of thing comes from with relationships with spirit and stuff. With people get either scared or they think you just are crazy.
Or people get stuck in the old dogmas of perhaps like fidelity or infidelity, and I don't know. I
think it's different. I think it's just different.
It is different.
And it's not for everybody. Definitely isn't for everybody. So anyone that doesn't resonate with any of this, that's fine.
Although I have a feeling that people that watch our shows are raising their hand. Me next. Where can I sign up? It's an awesome experience.
It is. And it can be, it's very healing.
Yes, because it's energy healing, entering your body. That's what it's basically. When you hire me for an energy healing session, that's what I'm doing. I'm sending you that kind of vibration, and you can set the intention to have it be sexy. And you don't even have to, I don't mean with me. It could be with whoever you want to. Although it can be with me. But for real, that's what energy, it's the same thing. So having said that, you don't even need to hire me. You can just say.
Yeah. Right. And I'm just choosing to feel it in that way, and that sexual, because I'm so turned on by Voltaire. But if I, my great-great-grandfather were to send me energy, it would feel differently, because I don't feel like him for that way. So it's like energy healing from spirit. So if thinking of tantric sex is a little too much for you,
right,
I would say...
tantric sex, Jesus.
Yeah, if that seems like, oh God... Here's another way to look at it. Right. Another way to look at it is just energy healing, but it's just choosing through which filter you want to feel that through, and that filter
Yes,
can either
because
be
Avery has,
platonic,
I don't
sexy.
know if it's he's sending me sexy love or I'm receiving it that way. Probably both, but it feels very sexy to me. You know, it's
Right.
got that love stuff, but it's got that sex flavor to it
Right.
too.
So it's like, which tunnel is it going to go through? You know, and you get to choose that.
Hmm.
Anyway, some people will be like, but what if they're sending it sexy? I see somebody that's going to like overthink it. I can already
Don't
see it.
forget, I just got done talking with Volty about how everything is your choice.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody can send that, that any kind of energy at you that you're not willing to receive. If
That's
you
true.
receive it, it's because on some level you invited it.
Mm-hmm. That's a big deal,
Mhm.
too.
Yeah, and you know what that reminds me of? I just want to do a quick how you and I are always about, people can't curse you unless you believe they can, that
Mm-hmm.
kind of thing. But you know what? The same thing is that you can't, somebody like tried to activate my husband. You're activated. And I feel like that's the same thing in reverse. It's like you don't have the power to activate me and whatever that activation was for. You have the power to help, facilitate energy, but ultimately it's my choice. If I'm going to receive whatever's coming my way, whether good or bad, you always are in control of the things that happen to you. That's all.
Maybe Voltaire, maybe you can manifest yourself in some way and people can see your shadow here or something. He's standing right here.
Yeah, make some sparkles. Let me see if I can see some frilly auras.
Um,
I'm going to try to send you a frilly for her to leave.
when you said activate, you're activated, I thought of this comedian that was like his mom would activate rivers.
Yes, I know that guy.
We're going to activate some rivers. Josh always makes fun of me by saying, we're going to go activate some rivers, Heather. Yeah. I'm
The river
activating the
can only
rivers.
be activated if it chooses to be activated.
Right.
Just
You
keep that
know,
in mind.
like, you're calling like, I already activated that river. That's dangerous.
Stay out of that water.
It's too activated. Okay, so let's go back to Saturians.
Okay, I
Got
didn't get
way
much
off.
information because I wasn't sure if you were going to channel. I
I
couldn't
think
remember
I
the.
think I'm just gonna regularly,
Okay, let's do that.
if I can talk, regular channel.
You mustn't. Just kidding. Do you have one in mind?
this no, just the ones I have contact with. I'm just pulling
Okay,
them
because I was
through.
going to suggest the Volty ones, but maybe they're the same family.
It doesn't fucking matter. They all give the same answers. So I'm
Uh-uh.
talking to. Right now they're here. They're incarnated right now, so
Okay.
they're
What do
here.
they look like? The humanish?
No.
Oh.
They're always tall. And white, very white.
It's all white.
Yeah, they're tall whites. There's a lot of tall and white ETs. That's why someone's like, there are tall whites. I'm like, but which ones, honestly?
Right.
But I think they have all black eyes. It's hard for me to see the eyes. But they have elongated skulls a little
Okay.
bit. They're not super long, just egg-shaped. Reminds me of an egg-shaped head. Um, and they wear these long, they look like futuristic kind of gowns, like the typical stuff you'd see in like sci-fi
Oh,
movies or whatever. And they have like the
Star
high
Trek.
collar. Yeah.
Are they shimmering with silver sparkles?
No, no, no. Unfortunately, they only have 3 fingers. I think, very long. But anyway, they're here. They're very peaceful, very kind. Somebody had asked us a joke and start us like, so they here to fuck us or what? Or, because everyone
Right,
thinks
let's
that,
find out. We're just
no,
talking about the energy sex.
no. But they said, well, we do have a,
Don't knock it till you try, big boy.
they said, we do have a hybrid program. They called it a hybridization program. They said the whole word.
Oh,
Um, but that's only for those willing and wanting to engage in a sexual intercourse, they said.
interesting.
But we cannot partake in the event because we are not conducive to each other
We
physically.
are not compatible.
Right.
Hmm.
It would not
Did you
work.
guys try it before?
Although we have not tried, we just know for fact it would not work. We do
Okay.
not have the same anatomy, and
Interesting.
we also just create our children differently. So
What do you mean? Like you don't have like sex like we have it?
no, It's purely, like you were talking about, purely energetic sex.
Really? So you energetically
And they're saying,
fertilize?
no.
Oh,
We
okay.
physically fertilize because we are physical
Okay.
beings. But our
Okay.
sex is purely
Oh,
energetic because we have found through
okay.
our evolution, it is so much more, it's better. And
Hmm.
stronger and more powerful.
Wow.
It's interesting.
Do you, because, well, I don't have any, I can't, so is there an orgasm at the end of the party?
Definitely, there is. And because it's energetic, you feel it not only through your energy, you feel it physically, which is why it's so much more powerful.
So is it concentrated in your sex bits or is it the whole body?
Yes, it can be. It depends on the individual and what they're wanting.
Okay. All right. God, why limit it? Blow up my whole. Woof. Okay, so why is there? Do you work with humans at all?
We do.
Besides, okay, tell us what you do.
Well, aside from the hybrid program, yes, we do. We help humans with understanding and bettering something with their culture. They
Okay.
said besides our culture, because we are a main hub. Okay, hold on. They keep. Okay, can one of you talk? Okay. Okay. Thank you. So they have a main hub. They're the moon that they're on near
Okay.
Saturn. And they said we are not from Saturn, the planet. There is no
Okay.
real life there.
Right.
But we have been on that moon for so long that is like our planet. And he said that all the moons are different. They, in fact, some of them have are more planet-like than moon-like. You know, you think of only how your moon is, but in fact, there's
Right.
some moons near Saturn that actually have the potential for life to grow on it naturally. Um, but they're considered moons because they were chunks away from an original planet and they're smaller.
Okay.
He's saying that, oh, they don't have he's and she's.
Oh.
Sorry. It's just you felt slightly masculine. Okay. Um, he says, I don't mind though. I don't care. Whatever is most convenient for you. He said, we don't have a preference for he or she. It's just that technically we're all one gender.
Wow.
Um,
Was it always that way or did you evolve that way?
we've evolved that way because we chose to. Each species
Okay.
is different. There's some that are at our same level of evolvement.
Uh-huh.
He's explaining this because he always cuts himself. It's him. He's cutting himself off and then changes the subject.
Sounds like me.
So he's saying the reason why I want to explain this is because I don't want humans to think that when they reach a certain level of
We'll evolve
evolvement,
that way.
right,
Okay.
it's just where our species had evolved. There's some that are
Okay.
at our same level and they have separate genders. In fact, some have more than one type of gender.
Ooh,
And I said
interesting.
that's where it gets complicated and interesting.
Yeah.
Um, but he said, but for us, this is how we've chosen to go. And and he said there's different reasons for that I won't get into. That'd be a long history lesson.
Okay.
He said, but what we help with humans is because we are a main hub, we invite other species onto our planet. He's just going to call their moon the
Okay.
planet. Um, it gives chances for the humans that are ready and willing to make contact to be exposed to other beings, other species, without the fear of anything. And they said that it looks like a daycare. When a human becomes overwhelmed, they put them in this room, and it's a big circular room with all these bright, mostly pink and yellow and like really happy colors. They find
Wow.
that
This is
colors,
daycare.
yeah, they find that colors really affect us.
Uh-huh.
And they enjoy studying us in that way, not by like, manipulating us or doing experiments. They just learn from observation. And they said, we find that humans are so much more sensitive and
Mm.
they can be provoked in such ways that, you sometimes forget. Humans don't even realize how sensitive they are. Sometimes they're even more sensitive than we are. And you think that beings that are evolved farther than you are more sensitive and more open. But in fact, humans are so much more open in certain ways. And you just forget or you suppress it or you just don't even
Don't
realize it.
understand it. Yeah.
It's the lack of understanding, you said. You're right. It's the lack of understanding.
Uh-huh.
But the more that you are understanding of it, the more aware of it you are. So it's not, he said, sometimes humans say, I'm learning to channel. No, you've always
You do it.
channeled.
You're
You're
learning to
just
recognize it.
more aware of when you're doing it.
Mm-hmm. I'm right there. Has Heather ever been to your moon? Do you know? Because I know
Yes.
she
Yes, I have.
really.
I still remember them. They're the type that take you up into the sky with the typical look of like, the light that beams down and sucks you up. That's what it is. Um, and I still remember when they came. I'm gonna just tell this story because it's fucking hilarious. It's one of the only times I ever got confirmation from Josh because he doesn't really believe in all this stuff, but he remembers this. He thinks it's a dream still, but it's not. Um, I woke up. I was in the middle of a dream, and I was taking pictures on a mall. And then all of a sudden, I started floating in the sky, and I'm like, "Why the fuck am I in the sky?" And I'm trying to get back down into my dream to take pictures, and then that's when I woke up, and I was in the air. I was outside my house in the air in the sky, and like I'm all like trying to like flip. It automatically makes you stay on your back, going up. They're laughing while I'm explaining this. And so I'm trying to like float down to on my belly and like crawl midair, like trying to like fly back into my home. I'm like, but I was really awake. I was fully awake. So this is fucking weird. And then, kept floating, keeping me back on my back. And so then finally I was like, I mean, this might as well happen. My adult life is already so goddamn weird. I mean, I might as well just accept it. So then I reached this opening, and it opens at the bottom of their ship, and I go through it, and then I just land perfectly on the ground in their ship, and there's this chair built into the wall, and there's this huge screen in front of me, not in front of me, but on the other side of the room. It looked like a giant ass fucking computer. And I go up to it, and I'm just like, okay. So this guy comes in with this, looks like an iPad, but I know it's not an Apple computers, selling in the universe. Right. But it looked like, an iPad. That's the best way I can explain it. And he was tapping on it, and he was just like, okay, so you're here to learn our language. And I'm like, okay. He's like, so just mess around with the chords here. And it just felt like, I had been there before, and we're just continuing the work I had done last time. And I was like, chill. So I'm pushing all these buttons, having fun. Not buttons, but it's like on a touchscreen thing. So I'm moving things around, and I see this big red button, not button, but on the screen. And I push it, ground opens up, I fall. And then they catch me midair in the light again. I go back up, and I'm back in front of the computer again. And the guy comes in, he's like, yeah, don't touch that.
Did you learn it?
I learned my lesson.
Dog.
I know. He's like, yeah, don't touch that. I'm like, yeah, no shit. And these guys, they're so cute. They wanted to watch me, but they were like hiding around this corner. They poke their head out, and they'd be like, oh shit, she saw us. And they'd go hide again. And it was cute. They finally approached me, and I'm like, you don't have to be afraid of me. I'm totally chill. And they took me around their ship to show me everything. And they said, we'll allow you to remember this. And I'm like, oh, that's so nice, allowing me to remember my own memories. Thank you. And they found that funny. They have a nice sense of humor. They found it funny, but they said it's because you're ready to remember it. It wouldn't be too much for you. They're saying it's because I woke up and they wanted to keep me asleep for it, but they woke me because I woke up and I was floating in space, and I was just like, all right.
Right,
because I just
handle part two.
Right. I'm like, I can handle the rest of it. If I can handle falling in the fucking sky, I can handle seeing a ship. Anyway, but they had this kitchen area, and on this table, this all black table, there was a glass plate over it, and there was water running through it like a giant river. And every once in a while, people were eating on it, but every once in a while, there was this, it looked like a tiny little fetus would go through, and people would just stop eating and put their head down for a second. And I'm like, what the fuck? And they said another hybrid baby died. And they're saying sometimes, even though we're as advanced as we are, there's still some things we can't understand. Sometimes it just doesn't go through. Sometimes there are miscarriages. And when that happens, it goes through so everyone can see the life that just died. Because it's really significant to them. They feel a great loss whenever there's a miscarriage. So it's not like they're carelessly just having a bunch of hybrids being born. They actually care about that life. And they get sad about it. And it's like a little ceremony they have. But it turned out I learned from that contact that I helped create their hybrid program. They already had one, but I revamped it. And what I did was I made it more personal. So they found that they had better luck when humans, or not just humans, any species, they engaged more emotionally with each other and would have physical sex. Whereas before, they would just extract the eggs of willing participants. Just want to stress, these are all volunteers.
Now they want you guys to do some fucking. Is that what's happening?
Right. So if you choose to be part of this hybrid program, you don't have to tell me. You don't have to ask me. But you could just be like, I want to be part of this. And they're saying that's actually a really good idea. Anyone else to be part of it.
So are they like facilitating hybrids for non-Saturian species then? Because it doesn't work with them.
Right.
Okay. I'll have an alien baby. Maybe, I don't know how alien babies
go. But there's sometimes it's kind of like a dating app almost, what it looks like. They put a picture of you. Right. Then they say next to it, it's like the planet you come from, your height, weight, things about your genetic code.
This is your DNA profile.
Yeah, it's the DNA profile. But nothing about like your hobbies or anything like that. It's just all science based. And what they do is
on the beach.
Right. So I've seen it. You flip through it like it's screen on the wall, and you flip through it and make your choice, But both parties have to be, you meet with each other and see if you guys get along. If not, then, you move on, right? So there's no sex unless you really engage emotionally well with that person. Because they find that the emotional bond of the two souls leads to more success with having a child. They're saying that we don't quite, right, they're saying we don't quite understand the science. We think it's more energetic based. Which we, as advanced as we are, we don't fully understand 100% how energy works. Like, we're still tapping into that, and we know a lot more than we did before, but we're still learning just how much energy takes place, and energy is not this unforeseen force. It's something you could see. It's something that can be scientifically explained, is what they're saying. But anyway, so they're thinking energy is actually a being. Like an entity.
Oh, interesting.
Huh. Oh, my cat's going to throw up right on the couch.
Oh, kitty.
And I can't go pick him up. Okay, well.
You can go. Because that's barf.
No, that's fine. It'll be fine. It was a hairball. She's fine. Happy barfing. So.
Hair with slobber.
So, where was I? So this hybrid program, you choose somebody. And I've had a lot of children through this program. They said, you have. I've been all too willing to participate. They said,
did I have a baby? Did I have one of your space babies?
No.
I didn't think so.
And then, but there was one guy I met on the ship, and he was putting on his boots. It looked like he was in a private room. And he looked up at me, and I could tell instantly I didn't like him. He was annoying to me. He's a pretentious asshole. I don't know. That was my first thought, pretentious asshole. Or misogynistic kind of dick. But they're laughing again. They have such a great sense of humor. They're saying that he had asked to mate with you, and you didn't like him, and you rejected him, and that's why he doesn't like me. I heard his little.
You heard his little feelers.
Yeah, I heard his man ego. That's what I call it, the man ego. But yeah.
Okay, so. Did they tell us yet what they're doing with us?
It's not just humans. It's only willing participants. This is across the board.
No, I didn't mean that. I'm sorry. Besides the hybrid program, what are they doing to help the humans? I don't know if we...
It's not just humans, but I guess if you want to focus only on your species...
no, not necessarily. You can tell me everything.
They're saying that with humans specifically, we'll touch base on that. Those that are willing to make contact, it's like making them more aware, helping them with feeling more comfortable with contact. Okay. And then you learn about different cultures and different species while you're on that. Oh my God, I just had an oh wow moment. So you're learning about different species and their cultures while you're up there, and you learn it on your own. Nobody's in there in a classroom teaching it. It's like everyone has their own computer. Yeah, it's there. You have your own little computer tablet looking thing, and you're just learning and reading. And you might, and when you feel you're ready enough, you engage with them physically. And what they mean by that is that you have physical contact with them.
Okay.
Um, and if because they're about get to know your neighbor. That's their whole thing. So they're not
Okay.
just doing this with humans. So they're saying that
That makes sense.
we're
That
doing
they
this
have us
all
all.
across the board. Any species that wants to participate
Oh,
in this is
they're teaching us how to be friends and accept.
right. And that
Yay!
makes total sense for what the fuck I'm doing on Earth because that's what I want to do. That's what we're doing. That's what Stardust does. That makes so much sense. Where I got, yeah,
It
that's what I
is.
did in space. I participated in that. Now I'm doing it on Earth.
Do any of you? Oh, so is Heather? Did she sign up to be like the Earth representative to
No,
carry on your work?
they're saying that it's not an official record-based thing
Right.
that she agreed to do this, but it's something she felt passionate about, wanted to continue it
Okay.
on
You
Earth.
you guys influenced her for what I would consider the good.
She's, yeah, she's saying she's not fearful of them, and that made her a perfect participant. So,
Why do you think she's not afraid of ETs?
yeah, they're saying that you can look at it at many different perspectives. Could be that they're saying on a spiritual basis, she
Mhm.
agreed to have that kind of non-fear,
Okay.
or it could
Okay.
be that she had contact throughout her entire life, or both.
Okay. And do any of you have a personal relationship with her in either this
We do.
life or a different
The
one?
three of us do. We meet with her every time she comes. We always like to keep it the same people you meet because
Okay.
to meet a new species entirely is one thing, but we want to
Right. And a
keep
new
it this
person every time
right.
is
It makes it less personal and it makes you a little more uncomfortable each time because if for humans they're very shy. We've learned that they're not very outgoing. They have to. Yes, there's outgoing humans among your kind, but even those that are outgoing at first there's a little bit of shyness. We don't want
yeah.
any kind of discomfort in any way. So the more likely you're to meet with one that you've met before, the more open, the more comfortable you're going to feel um, as you get to know
Okay.
them.
Do you guys have you ever been like can you exist on our planet or atmosphere and things like that? Have you ever been here? Or any of you?
We've been to Earth to visit. We
Okay.
do have contact with your governments, different governments.
Okay.
It just depends on the ones that wanted to reach out to us. And um, we want to start this on Earth. But your governments, and it's not just, they're saying we know how much there's different kinds of governments.
Uh-huh.
This is across the board, all of them feel the same
Okay.
about this. Isn't just one. Um, they're not ready. They feel
Okay.
as though the people are not ready, and we have to respect that. But we can on an individual basis. So for the
Okay.
individual, and for that we wanted to ask the consent of the leaders, not because they are in charge of you, but because if we were to just start going onto your planet and taking your people,
Yeah.
the leaders would be very upset. We don't want any kind of friction, any kind
Hmm.
of that. So that's the reason why we asked them. Not that you as an individual couldn't make that decision, but because we didn't want any kind of anger
Hmm.
from those in charge.
Yeah, that makes sense. You don't want to stir
Ruffle
any kind of
feathers,
trouble.
right?
Just
But they always seem okay with it. But they always want something immature, and that's how humans are.
yeah, what the
Um,
fuck?
they said there's nothing wrong with that. It's just how you work. So we know to bring forth gifts, and oftentimes that we don't have to give much. It just looks like gifts, you know. It looks like maybe like a toy to them, you know. But then to us, it's like, oh my god, what is that? And they're
Mr.
like,
Beans.
yeah, right. So they're like, what we trade is information about. It's just information, not about technology. You know, that's someone else's department. So I feel like they're part of. Okay, they're part of like that Galactic Council UFA thing. Um, and they're saying that that's someone else's job. It's another species' job to be in contact with the government in terms of technology. Our job is to we exchange information about the emotional aspect of humans and your involvement in that department. So we give help in regards to that.
Did you just say emotional? Is that
Yeah.
what you said? Because I didn't really know how to ask this question. I don't even, I just, I wanted to get a little bit, understand like their sense of humor a little bit. Because, we've spoken to species like the one grays that were just all about data, almost
Yeah.
like robots, So
They
they're
found
just
that funny too. They're
everything's
really
funny to them.
right.
You guys
They
are,
found that
happy in
funny. They keep
general.
laughing.
Oh
Yeah,
my gosh. You
they're
guys have
really
to come
nice.
party with us and Stardust. We're gonna laugh a lot.
Their idea of a party is different, but they said we would love to enjoy watching and observing that. So.
Okay, we'll put on a good show. Well, what do you do for fun then? Tell me something that's fun for you
It
guys.
sounds like they tell jokes to each other, like for fun. That's what they do.
Just be witty.
Like this is
Maybe
like
they're like naked French philosophers or something.
they didn't understand that. But it sounds like their pastime is conversation. They love to have conversation and laugh. That's what they do with each other.
Oh, I love that. When I grow up, I'm going to be a Saturian. I like you guys.
We would be honored.
Aww. Okay, I don't want to.
Friendly. They're so like, but they're not like friendly as in that hyperactive, outgoing kind of that you think. They're very calm, but they're so just they're so peaceful. They're so peaceful.
Can you tell me a little bit about either where the moon planet you're on or an original planet? I like to hear about
we come from
or whatever.
They come from another galaxy originally, and they're spread throughout the galaxy. We have different home bases. That's what they called it.
Okay. Have you ever been to what would be considered your home planet, or is it still exist? Or
it does. It does still exist. I personally have never been. The one talking has never been. But it's not a bad thing. We have lost the concept. Not lost, but lost for, he's saying lost, but maybe transitioned out of that thought of the one planet. We believe our home is the entire universe.
That makes sense. And I'm going to put it into perspective is that I have no idea what my ancestry is, but I've never gone back to my home country, whatever it is. Yeah. So to me, my home is Earth for now. Yes. So I kind of get that. It's like a bigger picture.
Yeah. Our home is everywhere. Wherever we are and wherever we need to be, that's our home.
All right. Do you have a question for them?
No. I love these guys, and I miss them. I feel like I haven't had contact with them in a while. And they're saying you haven't. You haven't.
Do you guys? Do you have names? Pronounceable names?
No.
Okay, well, Heather will give you some great ones, I'm sure.
Marco
and Polo.
Marco Polo, and then the third one, Regina. I don't know.
Regina.
There's Mark Dwoggleblah. I don't know. It sounds like a gooblablah, like their name. I don't know.
Huh. All right. Well, do you have any you have an opportunity to appeal to our watchers. Do you have any advice or messages or anything?
To keep going the route you're going. I know that sometimes it may seem like a heartless venture. That seems interesting choice of words. And things are not going the way, things are going south for your kind, but you must focus on your progression, on how far you've come since the last 100 years or so. You need to focus on your growth because everyone grows in different ways, different shapes, different colors. And sometimes what is perceived as anger and fear, it's actually somebody's growth and the way they grow.
Yes.
So you are growing, some people more painfully than others, and it can affect each other, but there's others growing more peacefully and more soundly. So do not take any transgressions that happen for your kind from each other as something negative and as though it's a step back, because you're actually stepping forward with everything you do. Because every chance is for growth.
True.
Yeah. That's
true, and just in a personal, I mean, you can go all the way up, a little group, a big group, whatever it is, that is the truth, because that growth comes from the shitty parts. Mm-hmm. That's good. Yeah.
Yeah. It's all a step forward, they said. So never be fearful that you're taking a step backwards as humanity.
For that. I think a lot of people do fear, how many times have you said back in the good old days, it was great, all these things were great. And I'm thinking, you know what, they didn't have plumbing and, they didn't have pavement. It was muddy. It wasn't that great.
Talking about they're talking about choosing how you see progress, how you see growth. You know,
Okay.
you can focus on where you're growing.
Find the silver linings. They are always there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right. Well, I gotta pee. And was there any other questions anyone from the group had?
Let me do a quick peek because we found out about that they're not, going to have any sex with us. We are a horny lot, Saturians.
Yeah, we know. Makes it easy for the program. They're all laughing. They're all laughing.
You guys are silly.
They are. They're silly. I love them. You guys are going to adore them. If you guys want to make contact with them, you're going to adore them. You're going to have a fun time.
Okay, I'm going to have Marco Polo and Regina come to a little, funny party.
I'll have to tell you the history of Marco Polo. And Regina's not involved.
Let's see. Are you guys creative in any way?
We like to think so, but we oftentimes need help from other beings who are far more creative than we are. We're creative in that we help set up a program initially for a hybridization. I say the whole fucking word. But they're saying that we're creative if you think creativity is being open-minded about things. We're always open to other ideas and other ways of doing things. Because we always know there's somebody who could do it better than us.
Okay. But how about, that's a completely reasonable answer, but do you do things like create music or art?
No.
Okay.
No. We do not create things in that aspect.
What about, do you or did you at one point have like a form of religion? I like how they said that energy is like a being, sort of.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
They're saying, well, we're starting to learn that it might be.
Okay.
It might be. They don't know for sure, but it's like a new evolving theory.
They're growing too. Everybody's always learning.
They're saying at one point, long time ago, it's like distant past, they almost don't remember. That's how long ago it was. They don't even remember what it was that they worshipped. It was like a religion kind of. I'm saying it's not really. They say they barely understand our concept of what religion is, but there was something outside themselves they worshipped in a way. I think they're like, what is it? These giant rocks, plums, or something like. They're like, we don't know what it was, but we know that it was there.
That's interesting. That they just something that what seems so significant in civilization is nothing.
They're all like kind of like asking each other, what was it? Like someone was like, I think they fell from the sky. I think that's why we thought they were gods.
It's an asteroid.
They're saying our planet does have these giant rain clouds, but they're almost solid. They calm down. They don't hurt. They're saying they're made of a different substance. But you could touch them, and it's like a moldy clay thing. You take it apart, and we would eat it.
The cloud?
And we thought it was some kind of God feeding us, something like that. That's what they're saying. Something like that. Something like that. We thought that the sky was feeding us. Maybe it was the sky that we worshipped. I don't remember.
Oh, I love hearing that kind of stuff. An edible cloud or.
Yeah, it was like an edible clay thing, because they're saying our clouds aren't like your clouds. Our planet's entirely different, and it's an entirely different galaxy. So our clouds were much more dense, and when the clouds would, it's not rain. It was more like they fall apart. And they would trickle when they become a little thin enough. So they would just fall from the gravity because they get too low. Before it's like they're right outside the atmosphere floating, and then it would get too low, thin out, fall.
Okay.
How do you not die from that? Well, they're saying, well, I mean, if you're right underneath it, but you could see it coming.
Okay, well, we have, big weather, too. You know, stand next to the tornado.
Yeah.
Well, I'm fascinated by this. I know you haven't been to your home planet, but you seem to know some stuff. What about, like, animals? Were you the only species? What do you think about that?
So long ago. They're trying to remember. This is interesting, because usually species always remember everything. But they're saying we never felt the need to document things. But they're saying that, because they're saying at a certain point you stop documenting, because so much time has passed. It's like, why remember something that happened,
And they're so mysterious. We got all these hieroglyphs and we don't even know what they mean. So
Yeah. Well, humans are at the very beginning stage, so it makes sense that you want to do that, but you eventually outgrow that need. Um, they're saying that you just retain the memory in your DNA, and they're like, but how do you retrieve the DNA memory then? But they're asking themselves that question. They're like, I'm sorry, we got off topic. What was your question?
I just wondered about other species to just
they're like the
talk about.
animals. They're so cute. They're so cute.
See, they seem like they like animals. I'm gonna get you a kitten.
They would. Angel, shh. I'm channeling.
Except they barf on your couch.
You could take my cat. You could take Angel.
Yeah, do cat.
Take her, please. Jesus Christ. We had little animals. Our animals were always very small.
You do have them.
And they hopped around, kind of like bunnies. Are they still on your planet? Somewhat. Almost gone. We tried to preserve their life, but as you will find, when a species overtakes a planet, much like yours is, the inevitability is that the animals will die.
Oh, do you see that happening to ours?
It is happening.
It is happening.
We don't have a passion for the animals, really. It's just our need to preserve everything. They're saying, ironically, not our history. But we have very few animals. We're surprised we kept them alive as long as we have. And they're not even in their natural habitat anymore. It's more of like we keep them in a contained place, but there's only like a small handful of them. And they're running on extinct. The small animals we have about maybe 5 each of each species, but we don't have a lot of species left. It's they're like there's about 3 or 4 left.
Wow, that's interesting too, because they don't seem especially destructive. It's just like the natural evolution.
What we want to do is find another planet that doesn't have a dominant species yet, and we want to find one that's habitable to them and put them there so they can flourish somewhere else. And maybe, because our whole process is about loving your neighbor. They're saying we're familiar with that love thy neighbor thing, and they believe fully in that. And so they're hoping that maybe one of those species that they put there, they're saying we want to find a different planet for each one, but that might not be possible. That would be hard work, but they're hoping that they'll evolve and then one day be intelligent enough to make contact, and then we can all be friends. So they're all about making friendships and want all of us to get along, all in space. Yeah.
I am a Saturian. I want everybody to be happy and friendly.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, they're so special.
They are.
What do you guys eat? I'm never gonna let them go. Uh-oh, something yucky.
It's like a lumpy clay thing. It comes from their cloud. They're puff clouds. The puppies. Puff cloud. Puff cloud food. We preserve it. We freeze it. You can freeze it and it still retains its flavor. We have a lot of that. Too much of it. Do you want some?
Doesn't sound very appetizing. Is it keto friendly? I'm just kidding.
They don't know what that is. Probably. Probably is. The diet.
I love them. Okay, I'm gonna let them go for real now because you gotta pee. I gotta pee too.
All right.
All that coffee.
All right. So just a reminder, we do have Stardust tickets for sale. I know it's Christmas time, so I haven't really been advertising
anything.
Yeah.
Did you want to talk about our endeavor?
Yeah. Let's talk about that real quick.
Okay, because we have a date and an event and a plan. And
it's January. Yeah, you do it.
Okay. Well, what was it? January 4th, which is a Saturday, and noon Pacific, 2 Central, 3. What's the other one? What's New York time called?
I don't fucking know.
Eastern. Okay, so this will all be written down somewhere. But we're going to collaborate, and what we've decided to do is we're going to do a Learn It Live, but this one isn't a freebie because this one comes with some cool stuff. You're going for $34. You get to spend as long as it takes. We don't know. It just depends on how many people sign up and participate. But we're going to get each person an opportunity to ask a personal question to their spirit team. And at the end of the session, I'm going to do a healing session. And I'm going to invite each of the spirit team, whether it's a higher self or a guide or whoever chooses to come through, I'm going to invite them to come help participate in this big healing session. So I just kind of love that whoever's joining in can have the validation that their specific team is going to be
Yeah.
there for them. They're there all the time, but as humans, we like to hear that.
Yeah.
So we'll write up some more details on it. And we're also, this is kind of together and separate. Because what else? Is this right? When we keep going with this?
Yeah, keep going.
Okay. So the other part of this is that Heather has a couple of the Stardust boxes that she made, and so what we're going to do, we're going to try it with one, see how it goes, and have like a raffle. So you can choose to buy a raffle ticket or as many raffle tickets as you want. The more you buy, the more chances you have. And I'm going to set the ticket price at $6. And the reason I'm going to do that is because that $34 with your price, with that, you get one entry into this raffle of the box. But if you want to just round up and make your total to $40, you'll get 2 entries. If you want to keep adding, you can. The event, the $34.
Hey, dude, real quick.
Yeah.
Your mic keeps going out. It's like this
fuck.
weird echo thing. I don't know.
Sorry, because I'm too far.
No.
Okay, so really, it's fucking up.
Yeah, it's a little choppy. It's weird.
It has been doing it the whole time.
No, I just noticed it now. So.
Okay, so I'm sorry about that.
It's fine.
Maybe I'm gonna continue as best I can.
Okay.
So anyway, with your $34, you get her and I. You get the session on Learn It Live, the question asked, and then the healing session afterwards. The raffle is separate, but we're going to give you one free entry if you go ahead and do that session with us.
Yeah.
We'll describe it better. You can always ask questions. And
so $34 for one entry to win a Stardust box if your name's drawn, and then to participate in our group healing and group reading. If you want to add more tickets to win a box, it's $16 additional for each ticket. So you can put as many as you want in there.
That's right. That's right.
For a chance to win. The box itself usually costs like $100. And it was something I decided to do because I was feeling really super creative and wanted to create something. But I'm not going to do them ever again. So I only have 2 left.
Last chance.
This is your last chance to get them. And in the box comes like a Stardust shirt, a Stardust cup. It comes with a handmade bracelet that I made. It also comes with handmade soap too. And what was it? And a pendulum. As well as a personally signed card with like my signature, Sam's signature, Avery's signature, and Kari's. So you'll get some alien signature in there too. But Gwyneth, some people wanted Gwyneth to sign it too. So I think Gwyneth too with the teacher. So yeah, that's in this raffle. I know I didn't want to bring this up, but I don't know, it's kind of slipping out. But it's to help us. I need money for December. I need money. I'm broke.
It helps support Stardust, so everybody wins. So even if you
I don't feel comfortable.
Don't even anticipate winning, you can still support us in this way, and it's a way for us to give back at the same time as you give to us, because we want to, we want to make things even, but we really enjoy doing these videos for you, but we got bills to pay too, so that's why we're going to do this.
I don't feel comfortable making money off Stardust. That always makes me very uncomfortable. I don't know why I don't like it. I just don't like it. But I'm a substitute teacher, and I don't make money during the Christmas break, and that's like a whole month off school, and I don't get paid during the summer, and I also don't get any benefits. So I need to figure out what the fuck I'm gonna do during this December when I'm not working. So,
well, you know what? You're not making money off Stardust. You're making money off your own work that you're doing. And you made the boxes. You're gonna answer the questions, and I'm gonna do the healing. We're earning that. You're not making money off of Any of them. They can join
Also,
in.
for people that want a more like a longer reading, because for this group reading for this raffle, it's only one question
Right.
only. If you want a more personal reading where you can ask more than one question, I do readings, and I'm offering a deal: buy one get one half off.
That's a good deal.
So you can book.
You always have more questions when you're done.
Right. So you can book it. I'm taking a whole week off readings though, but you can still book it and then keep that half off with you and when you're ready to redeem it. But you only have till the end of January to redeem it. Yeah.
Yeah, and if you're gonna do some plugging, so am I. I'm an energy healer too. So I encourage you to do this, this $34 gig because I charge $50 a session. So you're getting that at, quite the bargain, plus a bonus question too. So jump in on that, but I'm happy to give you personal sparkles anytime. So click our links.
All right. Well, that's it in terms of promoting. It always makes me uncomfortable, but that's
It
okay.
is embarrassing, but at least we don't. Oh gosh, I had to do so much for the shiny that one year. It was so uncomfortable.
You can buy my book too.
Oh yeah, she's not self-promoting at all.
I'm more comfortable promoting my writing. Buy this.
Right.
Fuck Stardust. Don't no. Buy this.
I got my signed copy, which by the way made me tear up and get so sappy until the last sentence. I just cracked up.
What if I just read you the first chapter real quick? Hey guys, no, I'm not gonna do that. That's too much. That's too much.
All right, baby girl.
I would have to ask the publisher if that's okay. All right.
Let's go pee-pee, and I'll talk to you later. I love you.
I love you too.
Bye.
Bye.